Hello YouTube and welcome back to Cover 2 Credits. As you can see, we're not in our normal settings today. Happens sometimes, still on the film, we did a few things. Kevin and I were able to go see a couple movies this weekend, and we saw Zootopia, and we will have another video about the other movie a little later. So, starting with Zootopia, Disney's new animated movie, the animal-centric world of Zootopia is very interesting and very, very well designed. And this is one of those things when you talk about Disney, they look so deep into the entire world they create, and this is one of those stories that was very, very well done in the entire story world. Was very concise and very interesting. Whether it's the voices and like the amazing talent they have for some of the voices in this, or it's like I said, the great visuals, the just like the city design itself, and there's one scene that's not spoiling anything when Hops, the main character, the rabbit, is first coming into Zootopia, and she's on the train, and you see all of these aspects of all the boroughs of the city, and she kind of rides through, and it's a play on like a New York style, like the boroughs, but it's done very, very well, and it makes it very, very interesting and easy to keep up with what's going on and where people are. Disney's another one that they do very, very good things with the messages they have for what's going to be in the movie, like what they're covering. And this movie's no different. There's kind of like, not discrimination, but like racial undertones and how to deal with things in that way, but instead of it being ethnicities or things like that, in the real world they're dealing with the difference between predator and the difference between prey, and it's done very, very well. And it's, some of the jokes are not something that kids are going to get because the references aren't, they're just not gonna catch it, but Disney's very good at that, having jokes for the parents as well as the kids. This movie is no different with that. They also show kind of the difference between the group that's in the city and a group that's out of the city. The naive nature of someone coming from what they consider like the farm area and moving into the city, may be naive to what's going on, but they get through that as well. To me, the characters themselves were hilarious, and they all had just huge amounts of personality. Again, it's Disney writing. They cover their bases with everything. I think my two favorite characters probably Mr. Big or Finnick, and doing some research into seeing who did some of the voices, and you had like Idris Elba doing a voice and J.K. Simmons doing a voice, and then you had Maurice LaMarche doing Mr. Big. And Maurice, if you don't know, is the same guy who did Brain from Pinky and the Brain, and Hedonism Bot from Futurama, and just you name it, he's kind of been a little bit of everything. And then it's just like that. Like, they find people to play the parts that fit the parts perfectly. Kevin gave this movie a 8 out of 10, and I agree wholeheartedly with him. I also went 8 out of 10. We both recommend go see this movie. Take your kids if you have them. Take your friends if you don't have kids. And I'd say take someone else's kids, but that's frowned upon. So you got to be careful with that. But go see this movie. It's definitely worth seeing, and hopefully it does well enough that there could be sequels. This is definitely a world that they could do sequels in, and it would be a little bit different each time. It's kind of right for the picking, and so yeah, coming from both of us here at Cover the Credits, go see Zootopia. And as always, like, subscribe, share this video. If you have anybody you know that's interested in this movie, share the video. We're spoiler free. We're not ruining anything by any means. Excuse me. And as always, thanks for staying until after the credits.